Well, I stopped being lazy. You know what that means? The top movie of 2012. You know what really surprised me? There was only 7 film, or 6, I can't remember. There was only 6 or 7 film I hate this year, and the film I like, there's about 19! There's 19 film that I like this year. So yeah, 2012 is a pretty good year for film. And to make sure that my train of thought doesn't go in every direction, I made a list. Do you believe this? This is the first time I actually made a script or a list of what I want to say, because there's so many stuff I want to go through, and I want to keep this as short as possible. And furthermore, due to my really bad memory, I decided to categorize the film into 4 types. The first type, action film. The second type, superhero film. The third type, animation. And the fourth type, movie that I don't have a category for. So anyway, without further ado, let's jump into the first category. Movies that I don't have a category for. Now the first movie in this list is Moonrise Kingdom.
What kind of bird are you?
I'm a sparrow. She's a dove.
No, I said, what kind of bird are you?
And I gotta be honest here, this is the first time I ever see a Wes Anderson film. So if I seem a little unknowledgeable about Wes Anderson's career, then I apologize, because this was the first film I ever saw that is directed by him. And this was one of the biggest surprise this year, because I went in totally not knowing what I was going to see, and I came out feeling really good, having seen something that is really, I've seen something that is basically a spectacular piece of cinema, something so creative and something so visually appealing that stands out among all the other films this year. Now the story is pretty much about 2 children who run away from their scouting camp and their families so that they can have a life together. That is pretty much the plot of the movie. I don't want to give too much away, because this is something you really need to see. And from that really simple plot point, it expanded into something way more bigger than just a simple romance. Now the movie is starred by child actor below the age of 15 and supported by a star-studded cast with Bruce Willis, Edward Norton and Bill Murray. Now what really stands out about this movie is basically the visual. For me at least, I thought the visual was something that really stands out in this film, because it feels whimsical. I don't know how to put this. It feels really whimsical, almost fairy tale-like. It's like Wes Anderson wanted to shoot this film through the eyes of a child. So hence why everything seemed strangely whimsical, basically. Despite the movie looking like a family film, the movie actually tackles really mature subjects: alienation, violence and sexuality. And the movie handled that pretty good. Everything is shown through a very skillful dialogues and very good scene and interaction between characters, making the movie a fun, whimsical and melancholic experience, making you wonder the whole film whether or not the 2 children will end up in a fairy tale-like scenario, or reality is gonna hit them hard and they're gonna end up like normal children. So yeah, Moonrise Kingdom, my first bout with Wes Anderson film, and it's spectacular. Everybody needs to see this film. Now the next movie on this list is none other than Killer Joe. I'm sorry, I don't have a piece of KFC with me, or I'm gonna be making a joke about it by now. So anyway, the movie is about this kid who owes a bunch of gangsters a lot of money, and being a genius that he is, he figured out that the only way to get enough money was to kill his mother to get her insurance money. So in order to do this, he hired a hitman by the name of Killer Joe, who turned out to be a detective by day and a hired assassin by night. Now from that really simple plot point, everything just spiraled down to hell. I'm not saying this movie was bad. This movie is great. This movie is amazing. But when I say everything spiraled down to hell, I basically mean everything just descend into the worst of humanity. Our tendency to lie, tendency to violence, and our sexual decadency. This movie showcased everything that is wrong with us. And the reason that this movie is on this list is because of none other than Matthew McConaughey. His portrayal of Killer Joe Cooper was nothing short of phenomenal. Now, the first time I ever saw Matthew McConaughey on screen many years ago was basically him in something like action comedy kind of movie, and I thought to myself, this guy's never gonna go far. He's gonna be stuck in this stupid role for his life. And Lord behold, I was wrong. Matthew McConaughey's portrayal of Killer Joe was frighteningly realistic and believable. I mean, I cannot, every time I see Matthew McConaughey from now, I'm gonna think of Killer Joe because he nailed that role perfectly. And this movie was pretty much set in Texas, and he was a Texas native. So it was basically a perfect casting for him. The way he moves, the way he talks, it was perfect. You are convinced he is this character. And my God, I actually feel bad after watching this because maybe I enjoyed it too much, even though how sick and twisted this whole entire movie was. But damn, the movie was really enjoyable and enhanced by Matthew McConaughey's top-notch performance. So nothing else much to say, but grab a DVD or grab a Blu-ray of Killer Joe now and watch it. Now the next movie on this list is none other than Cosmopolis. Directed by David Cronenberg and starring Robert Pattinson of the Twilight fame, the movie is basically about Robert Pattinson's character going to get a haircut. The end. That's it. That is pretty much the entire plot of the movie. But it isn't the destination that matters, but the journey, my friend. For you see, on his journey to his barbershop, you get to see and think about many philosophical questions that arise during the film. This ranges from corporation, the illusion of control, natural progression versus artificial progression, chaos and anarchy. All of these subjects just manifest itself during this ride to the barber, basically. And thanks to David Cronenberg's godlike script, the message came out and you are interested. You want to hear what they had to say. You want to figure out if whether he said is right and try to figure out that, okay, what does this lead to? This is basically a movie that gives you a hypothesis and a thesis and let you think and ponder on it. Now this movie is gonna require multiple viewing, and I personally saw this twice already. And I still haven't grasped everything. Is that something that I still miss? Is that something that I can understand better? And the one thing that made this movie good was Robert Pattinson himself. Let me get one thing clear. I hate Twilight. I hate everything about it. I hate every character in it. I hate everybody who worked on it. But by God, I would be lying to myself if I didn't say that Robert Pattinson is the only one from that franchise that have a future. From all I gotta say from watching Cosmopolis and watching Robert Pattinson's phenomenal dialogue delivery, the boy has a future, and I wish him all the good luck in the world because I want to see more of him act. And I want to see him just break away from the whole Twilight image. So, good luck about that, man. And if you haven't seen Cosmopolis, see it now. And make sure you see it more than twice. Because there's so many things in there that require thinking. So anyway, on to the next movie. And it's none other than Cloud Atlas.
That's it. The music from my dream.
There are whole movements I wrote imagining us meeting again and again in different lives, in different ages.
I can't explain it, but I knew when I opened that door.
A powerful deja vu ran through my bones. I heard it in a dream. I was in a nightmarish cafe, and the waitresses, they all had the same face.
Now, I'm not gonna say anything much about Cloud Atlas because I already covered it in one of my videos, but here's the basic story of it. It's 5 simultaneous stories paralleling each other, set in different time period, and all of it are connected with each other. All the same actor working on the film showed up in all of the 5 stories, but they fill different roles because in each time period they are a reincarnation of their last previous self. And in one lifetime they were the bad guy, in the other lifetime they are the good guys. And they also have a reoccurring theme of freedom and whether or not our fate is destined through time, and how everything we do in one life will always affect the other. So it's basically the concept teaching of karma, basically. It's something that I'm really familiar with. And I'm sorry, I gotta make this comparison. Cloud Atlas is basically the antithesis of Prometheus. When Cloud Atlas actually try to teach you something and show you things and make you think, by not making everything so damn complex, but everything that is accessible to everybody who watches, in contrast to Prometheus being this really bland science fiction movie with a really pretentious and confusing way of trying to convey what the theme is trying to say. And that's all I want to say about Cloud Atlas at this point. If you want to see a really great science fiction movie with a really great theme and subject matter and with a really great production value, go see Cloud Atlas. Now the next movie on this list is Life of Pi.
The next part of the story you will find hard to believe.
Now the movie is basically about this kid named Pi, and after his ship that carry his entire family and his zoo and pretty much everything he owns in his life sank in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, he is the only sole survivor on a raft boat basically. But he's sharing it with a Bengal tiger named Richard Johnson, I think. Is it Richard Johnson or Richard Parker? Hold on. Yeah, sorry, it's Richard Parker. Richard Parker. I always got confused. I'm sorry. So anyway, I feel sorry for people who didn't see this in cinema with the 3D. This is one of the movies that 3D really enhanced the visual, and this is one thing that this movie really did right. The visual. From the scene in India to glowing jellyfish to that dead island thing with the meat crab, everything was so stunningly beautiful. The graphic was great, the camera angle, the lighting, the set. I know the set is just like an open ocean, but if you can make that into something so beautiful, then my God, you deserve an Oscar for it. And Ang Lee's direction was pure genius. I mean, this was a book before. I never read the book, I'm sorry, but a lot of people, when they heard this film was being made, said that this can never be filmed. I mean, I went in personally not knowing anything about this, and I came out so baffled. This was so good. The visual enhanced the storytelling. And basically there's only one main actor in this film, and that's the Pi kid. He was really good. The performance was really good. And his acting and his dialogue just came out perfectly. You are convinced he is with a live Bengal tiger. And one of the things that really make this movie stand out for me, I'm not sure if I'm getting this right, so correct me if I'm wrong, but there's this really there's this reoccurring theme of like science versus religion, basically. I mean, one of the most interesting aspects of the Pi character is basically that he's a Christian, Muslim, Hindu, Buddhist. When he was a kid, he embraced all religion because he felt that there's no restriction. That was one of the good things. It was like a subtle theme, basically saying that why should there be like a barrier between each different set of beliefs, since everything can actually be adopted together. That was one of the very great and profound message in the film. Also, this is very contrasting because Pi father, he was a very practical person. I mean, there was one line in the movie with Pi father. He said that my brother didn't survive because of the Hindu gods, he survived because of Western medicine. It became like a reoccurring theme in the entire film. It pretty much showed this conflict between like whether or not you should have faith or you need to only be logical and practical to survive. It was really good. I mean, maybe other people don't see the way I did, but to me, that's what I saw, and I thought it was really profound. It was like a really nice way to handle this subject, which pretty much turned into like an all-out debate, basically. So yeah, Life of Pi. If you haven't seen it already, goddamn you, why?